Hello and welcome back to art class. Today we are going to be working on something called a self-portrait. Self-portrait is a picture that is drawn or painted or photographed of you by you. Okay? So some of you might know a term that's kind of similar, the term selfie. Selfie is where you take your cell phone and you're taking a picture of yourself, usually with something in the background. Maybe you're somewhere famous and you're trying to get yourself in the background in the picture. Okay. Well, a self-portrait is very similar. Only usually it refers to a special kind of photograph or a drawing or a painting or coloring that is a picture of yourself that was drawn and colored by yourself. So it can't be that your neighbor drew the picture of you and then you can call that a self-portrait. That's not. A self-portrait is everything is done by yourself. Okay. In this particular picture, you're going to need a few things for this first week. You're going to need a white piece of paper, you're going to want a pencil and an eraser, and you're going to actually need your iPad. Okay. And so to get started, you're actually going to start off with the iPad. So you're going to turn it on, and you're going to need to get into your Seesaw. Okay? And you're going to find this one called Self-Portrait Stencil, because that's where we're going to need to get for our picture. So I'm going to click on it, and we get a picture of this. The problem is it's not showing the right way, and it's not near big enough. So what we're going to do is I could turn my iPad this way, and it's close, but it's also got some problems with you're wasting space at the top and bottom. So what I'm going to have us do is go down here to this little, it's basically the share button is what that is. And I click it, and I want to save it to the camera roll. And it tells me it's saved. Now it may ask you if a Seesaw can have access to the camera roll, and the answer is going to be yes, if it's the first time you've ever done anything like that. Then what I'm going to do is click home. Okay, and I'm going to look for the Photos app. Okay, and I'm going to click on that. Oop, let me get out of this. Okay, and you can see that in my Photos app, I actually have a couple copies of the same picture. I'm going to click on it, and it's the same thing we just saw. But if I turn my iPad this way, now it takes up more screen. I can tap in the middle, and now I get less border issues. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit with my fingers. And this is something that moms and dads might want to do just because it's a little bit faster, a little bit easier for them to do this part. And you want to make it as big as you can in the screen. Don't worry that piece of the little corner pieces here, they'll go off the page, that's okay. This next part, again, you may want to have mom and dad help you out with this. And you're going to need your white piece of paper. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to take your finger from the top and you're going to push down, and you're going to get to your, these are some menu options. And this one here with the sun on it is the one that, brightness. Turn it up and down. You want to turn it up as high as it can go. Okay. A lot of you may already have it pretty high as it is. Okay. And then this will make it a little bit easier to trace, because we're actually going to trace our iPad. And you take your paper, and you want this to be pretty close to the top. I want a little bit of space. In fact, yeah, if you line up your paper with the edge of your case, that will actually just give you just the right amount of room. Okay, and then you want to, when you're holding the paper down, or your mom and dad are holding the paper, you want to hold your fingers so they're on the case and not on the screen, because if you touch the screen, what's going to happen is it still will move the picture around, and that is not a good thing, because then you have to go back in and adjust it, and that gets annoying after a while. Okay, that's pretty good. So again, I'm going to put it up here. I'll lay it up there at the edge. And I'm going to use my finger to hold it down on this next part. Depending on how good you are at tracing, you may want to have your parents do this little bit of tracing. If you're really good with tracing, you can do it. But you can't put your hand on the paper. Your hand cannot touch the paper. It's got to carefully trace without ever touching the paper. And you're going to do it lightly. and get this egg shape. And you also need to mark those extra spots on each side, here and here. And I'll explain those parts in a minute. Okay. Then, once you have it, you can turn your iPad off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over this now because I did it so light. I need to make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to go in and trace it. Again, this part can still be a mom and dad part. That's okay. This is just to help you out and get started, get you the right shape. Okay. Next, we're going to deal with these two pieces right here, over here and over here. Okay. These are actually there to mark where the ears go. So we're going to go ahead and put those in, and they're just kind of like partial ovals. And they go from the top line to the bottom line. We want to make them the right size. Kind of long, skinny ovals. Okay. Next, I want to focus on getting the neck and shoulders in, because those are kind of important. Now, one thing you want to watch out for, I'm going to draw one here, is this is what I see a lot of people do when they're doing a quick picture. Okay, they have this big head and this skinny, tiny little neck that would never actually be able to hold up the big head. So when we do ours, we need ours to be pretty big. So this is how I figure out if I did it for this size of a drawing. What I'll do is I'll put a couple marks in, and if I can fit my hand in, it's probably close to the size it's supposed to be. Now, if you look at mine, mine fits pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and put my neck in. Now, my neck is slightly slanted. It's not straight down, okay? Because you got muscles in your neck that actually cause a little bit of a slant. Okay? And again, you want to be able to put your hand inside the space between the two marks. So you actually do that. Then you're going to make your shoulders go off the page. They're just slanted, and they go off the page. We're not even going to try to fit a full body on here. Don't even try. We don't have a big enough paper for that. You know? So just slanted and go off the paper. Slanted, go off the paper. Then we want a curve for, we want to put like a shirt at the top of the shirt, which is called the collar. So we're going to put that on. It's 2 lines usually. And this is just so you know that it's a shirt. We can make some adjustments later and change this a little bit, but that way you have a good shape. Okay, looking good. Okay, next, after you've gotten this part done, we're going to need to focus on some eyes. So I'm going to flip my paper over, and we're going to draw some eyes on the back. You may want to do that as well. You may want to try draw these on the back. And our focus is going to be up here. So eyes. When we're doing eyes for pictures, a lot of people will do these ovals or circles, and then they put a dot in there like that. And that's great if you want kind of a cartoony look, but we're trying to be a little bit more realistic. So we're going to show you a very simple way to draw eyes. Okay, it's the top eyelid, so it's a curve. Okay, and you need 2 of them. Okay, like that. So 2 top curves, and then we need the circle, the colored part of the eye, and it's pretty big. Like that. And if you notice, it's always going to be touching the top of the eyelid. And I put one over here, so I need to make sure my other one goes on the same spot so that the eyes match. I'm not worried about the black center. I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'm just treating this basic line. It's basically a frown with a circle underneath it that's attached to it. The circle's actually touching that line. I'll do it again. It's a curved line, a curved line. And then this time I'm going to have it go this way. Right, so we're going to have our circle, circle, like that. So it looks that way. So I always have them looking to the left or looking to the right. It just makes it a little bit easier to, because it looks weird if they're looking straight at you. Now, there is a difference between when we draw boys and girls. With girls, we tend to add, what? Eyelashes. So if you want it to be a girl, because you are a girl, you're probably going to want to add some eyelashes. Remember, this is a self-portrait, so boys, we shouldn't really see you doing the eyelashes. Yes, boys actually have eyelashes. I have pretty long ones myself. But it doesn't look that great in a picture when you're trying to draw a boy to have the long eyelashes in their picture. Okay. So in my picture, I'm going to flip it over, and now I got to figure out, well, where do my eyes go? Well, my eyes, people are like, well, you see out of the top of your head. Well, do you really have eyes this high? And the answer is no. Your eyes are actually lower. Your eyes are actually about even with the top of your ears. So some people even draw a light line so they have their eyes even with the top of their ears. And then I'm going to draw my curve. There's my curve. Got two eyes. And then I'm going to have them looking off this way. There's my circles. I'm not going to worry about it bottom line. Not going to worry about that at all. Remember, we're going for a simple, easy way to do. Okay? And then if you do have a line that you follow, then you can go in and erase it. Now, since mine is supposed to be a self-portrait, I am not going to be putting eyelashes on there. But girls, at this point, this would be a good place to put your eyelashes in for you. Okay. Next, before I totally forget, because I forget this all the time, we need something that goes with the eyes. Both boys and girls have them, and it's not the eyelashes, but it has to do around with your eyes. It's your eyebrows. Okay, so your eyebrows are about as big as your eyes, and they're above them. And I like to use a sketchy line to do those. Because people look a little odd if they don't have them. And I'll use a sketchy line to do that. Just so I can kind of mark them. Okay, so now I have my eyebrows. Now for eyebrows for guys and girls, then guys and girls have actually similar eyebrows, but girls tend to do a little bit more work on them than the guys do. Okay. Now that we have eyebrows, we need to move to our next feature, which is the nose. Now, for the nose, I try to keep it simple. I like to do noses that are similar to a question mark. Okay, let me show you. This doesn't look anything like a nose right now, but watch what I'm going to do. I am actually going to turn it upside down, and now it's a good nose. Again, we're going to keep it simple so it's easy to do. Okay? It's just an upside down question mark. And where does it go? Well, your nose starts between your eyes, and it's supposed to be down here by the bottom of the ears. So it's going to be like this. If you want to do a little line there so you know where to go, you can do that. Like that. And then I just get rid of the extra line. It's an upside down question mark. Okay, back to my back side here. Again, I'm practicing on the back, so should you. You should practice on the back. The next is the mouth. Now, we could do the simple mouth. This works for boys or girls. Just a simple smile. Works well. Perfect. Okay, but if you want to be a little bit fancier for the boys, you do the same smile, and then you draw in a little bit of the lower lip. This is what they like to use in comic books a lot, is this look for the boys. They don't put in the top lip too much because then it looks a little bit too much like the girls, which I'll do over here. And the girl starts out pretty much the same way. Get that smile. Your bottom lip actually connects though. Like that. Okay. And then we have to do the top lip. And the top lip, I like to think of it as a squashed M. When I draw it, you'll see it. You'll understand. Okay, so it's an M that got stepped on. Okay. So for the boys, you can go fancy like this. Girls, you can go fancy like this, or you can keep it simple and just do a simple smile. I'm going to go a little bit fancier. Smile. And then I'm going to do the bottom lip for the boys. Remember, the bottom lip doesn't actually touch for the boys. They keep it separate. Like that. Now, real quick, I'm going to draw a girl's one from start to finish so that we can see them side by side. Okay, so now I can see the girls versus the boys there. Next week, we're going to focus on doing the hair, and then we'll start the coloring process. The hair takes a little while, so I want to leave us with this part right here. Okay, remember, your parents can help you. When you're done, snap a photo. Remember, it's a picture of you. So if you're a girl, you should be drawing the version of girl. If you're a boy, you should be drawing the version of the boy. All right, and I will see you next week.